job action. If they want to, if they're saying you're not doing your job, if they're going to move to a termination, that's something they're going to run by Mr. French and make sure that he has input to review that decision as well. Because I think a lot of you have asked along the way, well, you know, you're making sure we get the level of compensation we want to get, right? You're making sure that in the contract we have potentially with Service Solutions that I'm going to get paid my current rate. Well, they're going to have a lot of employees that are going to be paid a lot less than that. So what's going to keep them from trying to push me out? Right? I've heard that question from you, right? So what we've negotiated is review and input of any adverse job action, which means if they're moving toward termination, that's something they're going to confer with Mr. French about taking action. So again, Mr. French in particular has pushed really hard to try to take care of you if we move in this direction. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, but it is far better than where we started in this process. And I think there's some advantageous elements to this contract, this potential contract for all of you. I will say this also, Service Solutions has talked about, and I think it's in their interest, to largely keep in place the deployment that we have now. If you've been working at a particular school, you've been doing a good job, you've got a relationship there, they're going to try to keep people in the places where they're at. They're going to try to keep those relationships intact because that just makes good sense. You become a part of that community, you become a part, you develop relationships with the teachers, with the leadership, with the kids, and they're going to make every effort to make sure that we do that. They may even have stronger language than that. I think they talked about actually guaranteeing that that's where you'll be for the coming school year. But I think it's in their best interest, and it's in our best interest. If you've been there, if you're doing a good job, if you've built relationships, for you to remain at the school where you're at. So that's another element of the conversation that we have. I know there's a lot of talk out there, I know there's a lot of rumors out there, I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I want to take a little time to talk you through this, provide the information to you, and then see what kind of questions you have. Unless I missed anything, Mr. French or Mr. Williams, I'm gonna stop there and take questions. I will introduce Don Williams, who's the president of Service Solutions, and Mark Isley, who's the president of the Premier. They would be the potential partnership that if we move toward outsourcing, that would be the organization that would be involved. So just so you see your face, and Mark, you want to wave over there. Those are the gentlemen who head up the respective organizations that we're talking about. Let me stop there, and once we move to questions, if you have a question or a comment, would you raise your hand? Melissa will bring the microphone around to you. Again, I'm going to ask you to, keep the conversation civil, respectful, and please ask questions when you have the microphone, because otherwise we're not going to be able to hear you. All right.
Okay, my question is, what happens to our sick day? Already have what happens to them.
So the question is, what happens to our sick days? That's something that we're going to have to work through a little bit. I'm trying to answer the question honestly. That's something we haven't made a final decision. But here's something you have made. If you are eligible for retirement, and we move forward in this direction, you will be allowed to retire and take advantage of the sick time that would normally accrue to you if you gave 90 days notice. Okay, so you won't have the opportunity to do that. Recognize that we're moving forward in January, so you wouldn't have opportunity to give 90 days notice. But if you're eligible for retirement, you want to move in that direction, we will pay out the sick days at $100 a day. Now, I recognize that the question of what about my current sick days is a question that you asked, that others have asked, and I don't have an answer for you today, but that's something that I need to think through. I think it's in our interest to find some way to in some way buy some of that back from you in this direction. I think it's our interest to do that, and I think it's your interest to do that. I'm not ready to commit to that yet today, but that's something to talk about and something I'd like to try to accomplish.
This is all about YouTube. As soon as I'm in here.
Yeah, we will pay out vacation days, personal days. all the way up, Dr. Sims in the room? We said vacation days and personal days, we would buy out if we move in this direction, correct? Yes. Sick days have not been decided yet. That's a topic of conversation. We were just talking about that today. Typically when, if you retire, you do get a buyback of those sick days. If you just terminate, you typically do not. So, but we're just trying to kind of talk that through a little bit, and I think there's a mutual interest on potentially buying some of those back or all of those back. So we're talking about it, and I'm just not ready to commit to that today yet. So let's give me a couple more days, and we'll sort that out. So, there's a school board meeting next week, and I think if we're going to move forward in this direction, I would probably need to make a recommendation to the Board of Education by the end of the week, and they probably vote on it next week. There's a public budget forum, or public community forum on Thursday evening, and you're welcome to come, where, again, I want to hear from folks in our community. They're talking about some of these, challenging choices that face the Board of Education. So I don't want to make a recommendation I don't want to make a recommendation for today, when I heard from all of you, and I don't want to make a recommendation before I hear more broadly from the public and community forum. On Thursday, probably at the end of the week, I'd be in a position to make a decision about whether I'm going to recommend moving this direction or not. Over here, and then we'll go back.
What about, if so happens, this happens, that Service Solutions, installed, what about your, vacation? How do you accumulate